And then I realized that while they were talking about follow the money, knowing where the programs come from, why the programs were designed and why they were developed, I was like, oh, I'm a part of the status quo. And it scared me. Being a part of the status quo means that I'm not an effective change maker for not only myself and my family, but for the community around me. And it scared me how comfortable I was being a part of the status quo.
Well, my interest in county government is I feel that someone from a background that takes a holistic approach is actually what's missing in county government and government for that matter. Oftentimes, our elected officials are people from the business sector and attorneys, where we have limited people that actually come from the medical field that take on the task of public service.
I would just want to secure more funding for that, for my community. Fight to advocate for my community for resources. What is specifically economic and workforce development and education, community development, reliable transportation. Those are some of our biggest needs in the district when I look at it as a whole. A lot of other people have benefited, a lot of other districts have benefited from the Buffalo Renaissance, but there are still some districts, specifically in the 1st District, that can best be served by the Buffalo Renaissance.
The average person has no idea who their county legislator is, what they do, what the county is responsible for. So as I'm educating them, they feel like, oh wow, I do have to deal with the health department, or my cousin was in the holding center. I wonder why we don't have access to healthy food, or there's lead poisoning and mass lead poisoning across the east side of Buffalo. So there's just so many issues and they need to be addressed. And even more recently, we're starting to see with some of the decisions that the current county legislature is making that we need representation that's going to be independent, that's going to make a decision based on what's best for the needs of the people, not kind of this go along to get along politics as usual, protect the status quo that we've been seeing. So I'm running to try to make a difference and put people over politics.
I am running to make sure that we have diversity in terms of representation here in Erie County. There needs to be, in my opinion, equitable representation that reflects the diversity of the county. I am the youngest person ever elected chair of the legislature, which creates a bit of diversity with a youth perspective, as well as being a single mother who's grown up in poverty, a woman, and a person of color. So I see the world a little differently, and I just want to make sure that the people who see the world the same as I do are fairly represented when it comes to making laws and creating policy and handling the taxpayer's dollar.
I'm always fighting for change, improvement, kind of a opened dialogue for change, really, and having had these experiences. And more recently, through the lens of re-entry, and really the last 10 years, as I've fully, I guess, immersed myself within this industry, this population, and the issues surrounding it and the depth of it, I have found that not only is it entirely deep-rooted in the community, it's connected to so many other things.
We were the first community to institute solar laws, which has been very beneficial. We applied for the NYSERDA grant, which is a very difficult grant to get. We were awarded the NYSERDA grant, and we now are in the process of putting solarized panels on buildings. We have charging stations. We have electric cars. So I guess environmental issues have been something that I've been able to accomplish in the town of Tonawanda.
And I think me just running for Erie County Legislature, I think it's just time for a change. I think it's just been the same people in the same circle doing the same thing over and over. Nothing's been changing. I think, you know, the legislature needs to be more in the community, not just North Buffalo and Canton. You know, there's Black Rock Riverside, there's University District, which, you know, I reach out to all the communities, not just the Canton, North Buffalo District. You know, I go over into Black Rock, I go into Riverside, I go into the University area.